So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the best team composition to go against certain demons. I'm going to start off with Baal in this series, and right now I'm going to be showing my build for Baal and the perks that he has, and then why certain teams are good against him. So as you can see, I have a boss build. I'm just doing this for the memes, because this perk here is not useful for Baal at all. You already have enough fear increase here with the marked targets and just naturally with Baal, so this is not really necessary, and if anything, it's actually a nuisance to have during book phase. When you summon Baal, you're going to be increasing fear on the survivors, and you're accidentally going to possess a survivor and get knocked out of the possession, lose all your Inferno energy, and not really do enough damage to the book, instead of possessing the elites that you need to possess. So, as you can see that his whole kit is based around fear. Now, his elites have the Steel Epidermis ability, so you need damage on book phase or balance bar. So what you really need is a fear resistance build alongside with damage to balance bar, or just regular damage. So let's look at the team comps that we can have that sort of revolve around that. Leader Ash provides his team with fear resistance, but he has no ability to reduce fear. So he's good for the team comp. And Brock also provides this as well, fear resistance. So you can go Brock and Leader Ash and have two leaders on your team, because Brock also provides damage resistance for William's family. For warriors, you can go Scotty and Warrior Ash. Warrior Ash has his ability to reduce his fear, and Scotty, after every kill, can reduce his fear as well. Ed has an ability with his flashlight which takes down traps, which prevents fear. So for supports, you have David, you have Cheryl, and you have Support Ash. These three supports have the ability to reduce fear. Out of the three, which one is the best against Baal? It depends. Support Ash and David are probably the two supports you would rather go. David has his fire ability. The problem is it's very easy to get feared out of using your ability. But you could say the same thing for Support Ash. Support Ash has the ability to mark targets, and I think that's a very good ability against Baal. His alternative healing is a little bit different. It's easy to use his alternative healing against elites, but against basics, I find that it's very difficult, because the Fury ability that the basics have will knock you out of using your alternative healing. So in this instance, a axe is needed for Support Ash to get that hyper armor to actually get the healing going. So the damage resistance that David provides, I feel, is a little bit better, even though it's really not that much, because of how much damage Baal can do. Kind of negates David's damage resistance. So, having everything in account to this, what is the best team comp against Baal? For me personally, playing Baal, I think if I was playing against a team, what team comp would I dread going up against? I would say the worst team comp would be Ruby, Annie, Scotty, David. And the reason for this is, yes, they don't have ability to reduce their fear, but the damage resistance that David and Ruby provides would be enough where it'd be very hard to do anything. And the balance bar to my units, especially the elites, would be too much. I could even see a Ruby, Arthur, Scotty, David being very problematic. The only reason I say Annie, because balance bar on the elites is going to be very tough to win against on book. But if you just want to go like straight fear resistance, like it'll be nearly impossible to possess survivors, I would go Brock, Leader Ash, Scotty, Support Ash. Now, this team comp is not going to win on book. I say that, but they're going to have a very hard time winning on book. Brock is the worst leader by far. The things he provides for his team is carrying a bunch of shimps and amulets, but if you can't find those shimps and amulets on the map, you're going to have you're basically useless. And yes, he can revive teammates, but the damage increase he provides for his team is negligible compared to Leader Ash and any other leader. Like, you have to compare Brock to Ruby. Who's the better leader in that situation? I mean, everybody already knows this. It's Ruby. The damage increase she provides is way better than Brock. She provides damage resistance, which Brock doesn't provide, and she provides cooldown reduction. Now, Brock provides cooldown reduction as well, but it's way less than Ruby, and Ruby also provides stamina. So yes, she doesn't do fear resistance, but like Brock, when you have another leader, but it's barely anything that fear resistance that Brock provides. Like, you have to have Leader Ash and Brock to really benefit from that. And since the nerf to Brock, you have to go all Williams family to really benefit from the damage resistance. So you would have to go Brock, Leader Ash, Warrior Ash, and Support Ash or Cheryl to really benefit from Brock. So, having said all that, if you want to go to like, this build would be better for like most team comps for most demons. If you like rush map pieces and are really like rushing the demon. And this team comp would be good against, let's see, the original 3 demons if you play it right. Puppeteer, it doesn't really need to be a high level to really get a benefit from winning in the earlier game. He can win very early with a power possess. But if you rush Puppeteer and he's below level 20 on book phase, you have a better chance of winning. So the best team comp for that, for rushing, would be Leader Ash, Support Ash, Ed, and Hunter Ash. Now you're probably asking yourself, 2 hunters? Like, why would you go with 2 hunters? The reason I would say Ed and Hunter Ash is a good combo would because you're rushing the objective, so you need to only go for high rarity chests that are nearby. It doesn't have the ability to really spot those high rarity chests, but Hunter Ash does. And Hunter Ash can depossess a power possess as well, preventing the demon from getting damage on your teammates, which is going to mean they have to go back for Infernal Energy, which means that it's going to take them longer to level up. So in this way, this is the perfect team to really rush the demon with. You could have Ed and Hunter Ash rushing the map pieces while Leader Ash and Support Ash go and get supplies. And the reason I say that is that you have both of them going for map pieces is because as soon as they hop in the car, both of them, right? Ed is going to be using his flashlight ability to deactivate traps. And if the demon possesses a unit, the Hunter Ash depossesses the unit. And while they're on the run for a map piece, the Hunter Ash is looking for high rarity chests, blue and above. I would even say maybe even purple above, but if you're lucky. Sometimes you play Ed and you only get blue and common chests. It happens. And if you're able to get the demon at a very low level because of these two characters, you're not going to have a real problem with dealing with Puppeteer's Elite's balance bar, because he's going to be a low level on book. So he has to sacrifice either his basics or elites, spec into his basics or elites. And he probably wants to spec into his basics more, because when he has maxed out basics, more units will spawn, meaning more damage on book because of the explosion. Yeah. So that's my video about Baal and the perfect team comp. Perfect team comp, once again, would be Leader Ash, Ruby, Scotty, Support Ash. I think that's what I'm going to land with. The reason I don't choose Hunter Ash, because Hunter Ash is really not needed against Baal. Hunters are kind of glass cannons against Baal if they don't know how to dodge properly, and they're easily possessable. And they could do a ton of damage to your team. So Scotty is the better choice with his axe, lumberjack axe mastery. I think it's perfect against Baal. And the damage increase he gets from both Ruby and Leader Ash is enough to really destroy the elites that are on book. And as Support Ash is there to reduce everyone's fears. Leaders are the strongest against Baal. The problem is that they don't have the damage to deal with the elites. So that's why you have to have Scotty. Because you can make an argument like, well, let's go 3 leaders and a Support Ash and have fast forward on all of them. Baal has no slowdown for his when people are on an objective, so you could literally do the points within seconds. But the problem with that is you're just not going to have the damage to deal with the elites on book. And a good Baal player will know what's happening and spec into elites and boss so that he could destroy book. So yeah, but if you did want to go with that team comp just for the fun, like having fun, I would go Ruby, Arthur, Leader Ash, because Arthur would increase everyone's melee, Ruby damage resistance and increasing everybody's damage, and Leader Ash would be providing fear resistance and damage as well. When Arthur uses his ability, it reduces everyone's fear that are near him, but you have to be like hugging. So he has that going for him as well. And Support Ash, just so he could use his ability to reduce his fear. I would even say David, to be honest. You can go Support Ash or David. David may be a little bit better, in my opinion, because he's also providing that damage resistance to everyone as well. and Ruby and David are like the perfect team. They have the best team synergy out of all the supports. Once again, it's funny because if you look here, Brock is way off to the side and forgotten, and that's where he should be, to be honest. Forgotten, because he doesn't... I don't like him as a leader. Like, as a demon, it's kind of like annoying to go against Brock, but it's not annoying because what he provides for his team. It's just annoying trying to down him, because he could use his ability and drink the Shemps, drink it, use his ability to pick somebody up. He has the same thing as Henry, you know, but he can take damage. So he's like a poor man's version of Henry, and a poor man's version of Leader Ash. Leader Ash is El Jefe, right? And he's just El Jefe's father. Which is, it's funny. So he just has like, it makes sense lore-wise, I guess. But yeah, I was really disappointed. My whole thought process with getting Brock to P5 was that I would be able to pair it off with a Ruby and a David, a Hunter Ash, and they'd be able to get their ability like 4 times during book phase. David, I was thinking that you'd be able to get his ability at least 3 times on book phase because of how strong his cooldown is. I mean, the only time he'd probably be able to do that is because you would have to have a Ruby, Brock, David, and support Ash. Because Brock only provides cooldown resistance for the amount of supports he has on his team. So you would need 2 supports. But the problem is, when you have 2 supports, that's all Brock is providing is fear resistance and cooldown reduction. He's not providing melee damage increase. He's not providing range increase. So the only person that's really been like helping with increasing damage is the Ruby. So you can go with like a balance bar build with Brock, I guess. And the rest of your team just go for balance bar and then get maces and sledgehammers, and then you have the possibility of, you know, reducing everybody's fear. And because you'll be fighting fear resistance, and David and support Ash would be able to reduce everyone's fear. And you'd be able to get your abilities back faster because of both of them. The problem with that is David's ability to reduce infernal energy for the demon is not really good during objectives. It's only good in between objectives, and it's not something that moves around with him. So it's only good for throwing it down and trying to res someone, throwing it down, trying to revive somebody at the altar. But Brock can already do those things without really, and he can move around with it to res and resurrect people. So in this instance, it's not really good. Like, then again, you need to use it if you're going to use that team comp, because and everyone has to have like a shotgun or something. So you'd save all your long gun ammo until the end game, so everybody has long gun ammo, and each pellet is going to reduce the demon's infernal energy, so it'll get knocked out of possessions rather than rocking the balance bar. To be honest, I'm going to try that team comp just to see how it goes, because it would be an interesting team comp to see how well it does against demons. Now, I don't think this team comp would work against Puppeteer, but I think it does have the potential to really prevent levels. Because the best way to like level up as demon is to possess survivors. You really possess them and then depossess them and you gain a level. Yeah, but to be honest, I think Brock, Ruby, Support Ash, and David would only be good against Baal. And you don't know who you're gonna go up against. Unless if you're facing somebody that you go against all the time, and you know what demon he plays. But yeah, like I said, Brock is just pointless. So once again, I think the best team comp against Baal would be Ruby, Leader Ash, Scotty, Support Ash. Or David. Those are the two ones I'm a little bit worried about. Like David or Support Ash, which one's better? That just depends on the player, I think. Like if a good player that knows how to use Support Ash very well, knows the dodging and knows how to really benefit from his alternative healing, and knows when to use his fear reduction ability, would be more of a menace than David. David has nail gun mastery that doesn't really do that much, and it's not going to really help you with Baal because if Baal possesses David while he has a nail gun, he's going to down his teammates. So the only thing David provides for Baal is his ability to reduce fear with his active ability. But the cooldown is so much worse than Support Ash that it's not really useful. And Support Ash is a burst of reduction of fear, while David's fear reduction that he provides with his flame is a lot slower. So, and leaders are very hard to possess, especially Leader Ash, if you have him spec correctly, will have zero fear. And the only time that Baal can do damage against Leader Ash is if he's marked, and he's spec'd into being marked. Ruby, basically she has to be maxed fear to get possessed, and when she does get possessed, after the depossession she starts healing, and it doesn't do that much damage to her. So that's kind of like, and it burns through the demon's infernal energy, which Baal doesn't have that much infernal energy to really burn through. So in this instance, I would say Support Ash would be better. So Ruby, Leader Ash, Scotty, and Support Ash. Leader Ash isn't really necessary. You can go Ruby Annie or Ruby Arthur. It all depends what you want to spec around Scotty with. So when you're making a team composition against Baal, you really have to think about who's going to be your damage dealer, right? Amanda, Kelly, horrible characters to use against Baal. Ed, well, you can make an argument that Ed is the counter to Baal. I don't think so, because if you have Boss, you can literally just summon Boss when Ed uses his ability, and it just counters him entirely. So really, Baal is the counter to Ed, in my opinion. Hunter Ash, yes, the basics are where Baal gets his damage from, but he can only use his ability once. And it's not that useful against Baal. It's more useful against Puppeteer and all the other demons. But against Baal, it's not really useful. So really, you want to go with a warrior, not Mia. Mia's probably the worst character you can go against Baal, because her abilities and damage, where she comes from having max fear. Where does Baal's damage come from? Having the survivor with max fear. So in this instance, she's probably one of the worst characters to go against Baal. And it's kind of sad how bad I think Mia is. Like, her whole kit to deal out damage helps the demons, each demon, to possess her and deal that same damage. That's why people don't tell Mia players, don't run with a machete, because that machete is going to down their whole team. Henry is good with survivability, but since he's going to have max fear all the time, he could literally try and go for a res. Baal can fear him out of it with his demon dash, and then when he tries and go back for the res, if he doesn't use his ability, you can have a basic on there and start hitting him. He has to stand up again, activate his ability, and then go for the res again. You depossess the basic and then immediately possess him while he's invincible, and then you can start dealing melee damage to the rest of the team. So in the instance, I would not think that he would be a good character to use. Warrior Ash, so that leaves you Warrior Ash and Scotty as your damage dealers. Warrior Ash does damage to the rest of the other units with his shield blast. So he has a weapon mastery of the chainsaw, which is good, but it doesn't have any hyper armor. So when you're trying to go for heavy hits with the chainsaw, you're going to be knocked out of it with the first hit. So it's not really benefit to use. And his whole kit's about chaining finishers to gain shields. So in this instance, he's not really there to deal damage to the possessed unit. He's there to survive. He has the same thing that Henry has. He's all about survivability, keeping his shields up, making sure he doesn't fall into his health. And this is why I don't choose Warrior Ash. He has the ability to reduce his fear, yes, and increase his damage, and decrease his damage dealt to him. But he's still not going to be able to do heavy hits with his chainsaw. And this is why I think Scotty's the best. Because Scotty has mastery in Lumberjack axe, and in Lumberjack axe, hyper armor. And for every kill he gets, it reduces his fear. Yes, it's a little bit, and it's not really going to benefit from Baal, but if you're expecting to fear resistance with Scotty, and you have Leader Ash, and Ruby, and Support Ash, you're really not going to get possessed that much. And you're not going to get a lot of damage dealt to you. Because the damage that's dealt to you is based on your fear. And if you're really managing your fear with Scotty, and you're expecting to damage resistance and damage, the demon's not really going to... you're going to have the same survivability as basically Henry. So that's my video about Baal and what's the perfect counter to him. Once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Ruby, Leader Ash, Scotty, Support Ash. If you don't want to play Support Ash, you can play David. But I would say Scotty would be better. Sorry, Support Ash. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or you think there's any better team comps than that, please leave it in the comments. And I can maybe address it in another video. I'm going to be talking about each demon and what's the perfect team comp in the next couple of videos. Thanks for watching.